Hello and welcome to the RPGuilds YouTube community channel. So, what are we here for today? Why are we in the heart of Feralis, King's Reach itself? Well, we're not doing the guide today, that will come, but not today. And today I am doing the much more awaited video, which is the laws of the server, both Xalxes and the Void, which are both very interesting stories which we'll be reading, and I will speak. Instead of you having to go and just read it yourselves, I will actually tell it like a little bit of a story myself. So, let's head on down there, we'll read the books. So yeah, we're going now into the archives. Now the archives of King's Reach are probably one of the most safest places in the whole of Feralis. It's a great place to be if you're ever trying to survive an attack. This is the place to come. However, they will most likely not let you in. But yeah, so this is the heart of all knowledge and wisdom in the whole of Feralis. This is the top floor, or the highest floor, which is basically the reception or meeting room for the scholars. So let's head on down. On the second floor, this is the main storage room, where all hundreds of thousands of books have been stored from some of the greatest writers and scholars from across Feralis. It's really truly amazing. So now let's head down to the bottom floor. Now this floor always must be guarded. You will see why as we enter. Here is our first guard. I need to let him make sure that I am who I am first, and that yes, he knows me, that's okay then. So, let's head on through. In case you haven't noticed, that is a dragon egg, yes. That was found many years ago, and scholars here have been working on it ever since, tiresomely. Not much else has been known or found out about the dragon egg yet. Or if it is a dragon egg, they're not 100%, but that's what the scholars seem to resemble it as. So, let's go ahead and start reading the books then, I guess. So, let's begin by first reading the Book of the Void. So, let's begin. This is the Void. So, let's begin. Before the existence of the gods, there was the Void. The Void was a vast darkness where no time existed, populated only by pure energy in the form of Voidstone. In the moment the Void came to be, an imbalance was introduced, causing the Void to release in numerous forms. These forms are the gods we worship today. The 5 gods named themselves Caxus, Otier, Ravenna, Leowin, and Zerfa. Each used their power for different purposes. Otier wished to keep them all from using their powers for evil, and watched over them like a father. Ravenna, beauty in its true form, wished to spread a magical feeling known as love that she felt herself for Otier. Leowin and Zerfa used their powers to forge new life, and thus we were born. Finally, Caxus, the one Otier worried for most, had much desire for Ravenna, but she was already in love with another. Over time, Caxus began to feel vengeance and anger as he wanted love to take its course. As trees began to blossom and life was born, Zerfa and Leowin stayed close to their creation and remained ignorant from the evil lurking within Caxus. On the first moon, Caxus began working on his own creation, a dark evil, a twisted land to harness the souls of the unworthy and use them against Otier. As man began to build, Caxus began to destroy. On the 100th moon, Ravenna was captured by Caxus and chained into the underworld. Otier never believed such evil could come of someone of the same father, and so the War of the Gods began. The War of the Gods lasted many thousand moons, until Otier finally fought back the very source of evil and bound Caxus into his own creation, giving him his name of King of the Underworld. Caxus was banished from the overworld, but fear amongst Leowin and Zerfa was high, as they knew that one day Caxus would walk in their creation. So, that was the Void. That is the introduction to the gods, and explains who they all are and how they came to be and what they did for us and how they created Feralis and the rest of the known realm. Okay, so this is the second bit. This is Xalxes. Xalxes is a storyline which actually happened on the server. It's true fact. Everything here is all been experienced by some of the players still here on the server today. This was an event which lasted many weeks, and got all the players together to fight back the forces of darkness and Caxus himself. So, let's begin Xerxes. With fresh water flowing and green grass growing, the first mortal beings began their fight for survival in the cold wilds of the old realm. Over time, towns began to be built, and as more time passed, great warriors were born, as man fought man, as believed to be the key to survival and glory. One group of men, the Phallus, came together and created an order to protect the realm from creatures most men had never seen and would never see. But with no high king, just pretenders, no peace was ever settled between men. And on the 17th moon of snowfall, a new threat arose. The Phallus before this were known as the Fool's Guard, until the day their skills were needed. Until the day the creatures of Caxus walked onto mortal grounds. The Phallus had already trained for this day, and so marched in their hundreds to the first gate near Holemir, a once great city. Commanded by a man named the Hunter, the Phallus fought back the creatures from the plains of evil until more and more gates opened, and the Phallus knights were stretched across all corners of the old realm. This is when Caxus delivered the fatal blow that was to leave the realm in chaos, the day Caxus himself crossed into our world. The day the Phallus fell, but also the day a boy named Xerxes was born. In the many years after Caxus had defeated the Phallus, his creatures slowly slipped away from the overworld and were not seen for over a century, allowing the Phallus to be reborn. A man named Xerxes took the Phallus to oath, and an oath to leave your families, friends, pride, and glory behind, and to fight a war some men could not even dream upon. Xerxes was one of the few and only man of Phallus to be blessed by Leowin's gift of magic. He used this for his first years in service to heal wounded men who had returned from their fight beyond the gates to darkness. Then the darkness returned to the old realm, bringing chaos with it. The Phallus were not as strong as they once were, and so all men were called to battle, even Xerxes, who was merely a healer. Xerxes worked at the ranks like no other man seen before. With only 6 years of battle experience, he became the new commander of the Phallus, which brought him to the true calling, the Great Battle of Phallus, where he stood with many men, some civilians, some guards, some knights of Phallus, but just people trying to defend their home mainly. Some still alive today because of him. The battle lasted days as the forces of darkness had surrounded them. The castle was the last place of light. Everywhere else was covered by the darkness. The walls eventually fell from balls of fire hurled by giant flying creatures of the darkness. Xerxes ordered the retreat to the tombs of the castle where he learnt the true strength of his power. Many say he was seen speaking to someone. Some say it was Leowin. Some say he was sent to protect us. Some say he was a god amongst men. He cast his sword aside and grabbed a simple wooden staff. Using this he shouted words no man could repeat, and a spiral of elemental power wrapped the men safely inside. He was last seen uttering the words, "I will return for you, but for this day I must save you." And like a flash, the men of the old realm were next seen in King's Reach, greeted by loved ones who had fled earlier on large boats and ships. This is the stories of Xerxes, protector of men. So that was Xerxes, and they are the two main storylines of our server, which are also called lores. So the next part of the lore, of the main lore anyway, will be coming soon, I do hope. We're working on it now. I will maybe release some secret little updates on the YouTube channel with that, and please feel free also to begin making your own YouTube videos, and we can bring them up on the website just to keep the community more alive and active together. So please rate, comment and subscribe. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I would also like you know what video you want me to do most next, and that is what I'll be working on. So I hope you enjoyed it.